You are a badass at making money. Master the Mindset of Wealth. Written by Jen Sincero. Published by Level Audiobooks. Introduction. If you're ready to make more money, you can. I don't care how many times you've tried and failed, or if you're so broke you're selling your bodily fluids for bus fare, or how often you've found yourself center stage at the checkout counter, feigning shock and indignation. Are you sure? Declined? That's impossible. Can you run it one more time? No matter how out of the question it may seem for you at this moment, you can make lots of money. Even I'm a buy everyone I love a house and a gold tooth kind of money, if that's what turns you on. I'd also like to point out that there's nothing horribly wrong with you if you haven't figured out how to do it yet. Money is one of the most loaded topics out there. We love money, hate money, obsess over money, ignore money, resent money, hoard money, crave money, badmouth money. Money is rife with so much desire and shame and weirdness. It's a wonder we can utter the word above a whisper, let alone go out and joyfully rake it in. Have you been brave enough to read this book in public, I wonder? With the title in full view, it reminds me a lot of how we've been conditioned to deal with sex. Another gold medalist in the topics that totally freak people out competition. When it comes to having sex and making money, you're supposed to know what you're doing and be all great at it, but nobody teaches you anything about it, and you're never supposed to talk about it because it's inappropriate, dirty, not so classy. Both money and sex can provide unthinkable pleasures, birth new life, and inspire violence and divorce. We're ashamed if we don't have it. We're even more ashamed to admit we want it. We will do things one people we're not nuts about in order to get it. And I know I'm not the only one who has caught myself fantasizing about a stranger dressed like Batman coming up and giving me some on a bench in Central Park. Am I? The good news is if you, like most people, have a troubled or conflicted relationship with money, you have the ability to heal it, transform it, and become such awesome pals with money that you wake up one day to find yourself standing in the middle of the life you've always wanted to live, and you can start making this change right now. All you need to do is wake up to what's holding you back, make new, powerful choices about what you focus on, and smarten yourself about money, and go for it like you ain't never gone for it before. Which is what this book will help you do. I personally transformed my financial reality so quickly and massively that everybody who knows me well is still wondering what the hell happened. And believe me when I say, if my broke ass can do it, you can do it too, no matter how rickety or hopeless you may feel right now, because I knew precisely zero things about making money until I was in my 40s. My 40s? That's the age when most people possess things like houses and college funds for their kids and an understanding of how the Dow Jones works. Meanwhile, at 40, I possessed a barren bank account, a deep wrinkle line between my eyebrows from stress, and a first-name basis relationship with Sheila at the collection agency. For the vast majority of my adult life, I was a freelance writer, forever scrambling for work that paid an insulting non-amount considering how time-consuming and challenging it was. Had I actually done the math, I would have realized just how free my lancing was, but I instead chose to be in denial of the facts, work harder, complain more, and just, hope that I'd somehow magically start raking in the dough or get run over by someone rich who would then have to take care of me for the rest of my life. My watertight plan for getting out of financial struggle was partly based on having a whole lot of hang-ups about money. Money is evil, rich people are gross, I have no idea how to make it, I'd have no idea what to do with it even if I did know how to make it, etc., as well as my perpetual and torturous state of indecision. I knew I was a writer, and I also knew I wanted to do more than sit alone in a room in my robe and type all day. I just didn't know what it was I wanted to do. And rather than just picking something already and seeing where it led, I chose to bite my nails down to bloody nubs and wallow in the I don't know what the hell I want to do with my life quagmire. For years, as in decades, it was so painful and devastating and utterly paralyzing. This is how I found myself at the ripe old age of 40, living in a converted garage in an alley, in fear of requiring dental work, excelling at financial mediocrity in the following ways: eating, drinking, filling my pockets with anything that was free, regardless of whether or not I really liked it or needed it. Walking countless blocks in flip-flops to save $5 on valet parking. Employing duct tape instead of professionals to repair things like leaking pipes, busted shoe straps, and fractured bones. Meeting friends at a restaurant for dinner, ordering a glass of water. Tap is fine, thanks, I love the tap in this city, before explaining to the table how I'm really not hungry, I'm stuffed actually. And then the free bread is placed on the table and disappears into my mouth in a blur. Choosing between phone service and health insurance. Spending excruciating amounts of time purchasing anything from a TV to a bedspread to a wooden spoon in order to thoroughly investigate every possibility of a cheaper option, a forthcoming sale, a coupon code, or to entertain the question, is this something I could perhaps make myself? If I'd put the same amount of time and focus that I put into freaking out about not having money, cutting back my expenses, finding the deals, haggling, researching, returning, refunding, redeeming, rerouting, rebating, into actually making money, I would have been driving a car with working windshield wipers years before I actually did. This making money thing is not about never again making wise, informed purchases or rejoicing in a good sale or filling up on bread. It's about giving yourself the options and the permission to be, do, and have whatever lights you up instead of acting like a victim of your circumstances. It's about not pretending everything is cool. I love having 3 roommates, none of whom know how to use a sponge or a goddamn broom, instead of focusing on making more money to afford yourself your own place for fear you'll be judged or you'll suck at it or that it'll be too hard or no fun or out of your reach. It's about creating the wealth that affords you the life you'd love to live instead of settling for what you think you can get. The human ability to rationalize, defend, and accept our self-imposed drama is bananas, especially because we have all the power within us to choose and create realities that totally kick ass. We see it all the time with people who are in miserable or even abusive relationships. He's just so sad and sorry after he cheats on me. It breaks my heart. Plus, the makeup sex is super hot. We see it when people insist on staying in jobs they hate. I spend my lunch breaks weeping in the stairwell, I'm so miserable, but the health insurance is amazing. Meanwhile, their spirit and their time on this earth are quickly swirling down the drain. Time wasted rationalizing the mediocre could be time spent creating the magnificent. You have one glorious and brief shot at being the you that is you on planet Earth, and the power to create whatever reality you desire. Why not be the biggest, happiest, most generous, and fully realized humanoid you can be? After some 40-plus years of scraping by, I finally could no longer bear hearing myself say my mantras of choice, I can't afford it, and I don't know what I want to do, or to continue living in places so crappy and small that I could sit on the toilet, answer the door, and fry an egg all at the same time. It was like living on a boat or in a toadstool. I could no longer sit back and watch all these other people out there kicking butt, making great money doing what they loved, treating their pals to fancy dinners, donating more than $5 and a thank you note to charities they loved, traveling the world in luxury, wearing shoes that no stranger had worn before, basically living the life I wanted to live. I was just as smart, talented, charming, well-groomed. What the hell was my problem? What was I waiting for? No matter how much I complained or freaked out or tried to convince myself that my present rickety life was as good as it could, should or would get, deep down I knew I was meant for and wanted bigger things. I'd get all excited hearing about someone's cool job as a globe-trotting journalist, or hanging out at someone's beachfront house and think, this could be me. And instead of using that excitement to propel myself into action, I immediately started talking myself out of going for it. Well, I have nothing well written enough to show that I could be a good journalist. And I'm not entirely sure that's what I want to do. Plus, I have a cat. I could never travel the world and leave Mr. Biggins behind. Even though staying stuck where I was felt easier and less risky than putting myself out there, it also felt awful. I felt like I was letting myself down, being a wimp, holding back, denying myself a whole lot of awesomeness, snoring my way through life. Because basically, I was. The knowledge that I could be doing so much better but wasn't, finally became so unbearable that I got off my butt and made the hell-bent-for-glory decision to get over my fear and loathing of money and figure out how to make some, and to let myself do it in a way that maybe wasn't perfect, but that at least felt sort of right, instead of clinging to the easy out of being unsure. There was no thunderclap aha moment. I didn't narrowly escape dying in a grease fire, or get dumped by the love of my life for being such a loser, or have some big snap out of it epiphany. I just suddenly couldn't take listening to myself complain anymore. I just finally woke up. Which is how the desire to make massive change kicks in for most people. The leaps I had to take to catapult myself out of my safe little reality were often terrifying and hugely confronting. For example, I invested alarming amounts of money in putting an online business together, taking courses, hiring mentors, building a website, getting headshots taken by someone other than my right arm, etc. I risked looking like an idiot and a fraud because this new business of mine was all about coaching other writers, and I'd never coached other writers before. I risked losing the aforementioned alarming amounts of money on building an online business because I knew not one thing about running online businesses, or offline businesses for that matter. Even telling people that I had a damn business felt ridiculous. It felt pretend, like I was just playing Office until someone busted me. Just kidding. Sorry, I don't really know what I'm doing. But no matter how scary each step was, it was nowhere near as frustrating as constantly wondering how I was ever going to pay off my student loans, or feeling like I was wasting away in my tiny little life when I knew I could be doing so much better. I'm now not only making 7 figures as a success coach and author, but I'm writing a book on how to make money. Me, Jen Sincero, ex-shoplifter and scrounger for coins in couch cushions, other people's couch cushions, it's as unthinkable as my 90-year-old father becoming an overnight sensation on Dancing with the Stars, and then writing a book about it. Miracles, I believe in them. One of the coolest things I remember is how quickly, once I made the no-nonsense decision to get my financial poop in a scoop, new opportunities and ideas and income streams started showing up in my life. They were there the entire time, of course. I was just too busy clipping coupons and focusing on my ennui to notice. But I want you to know that you have everything you need right now to start turning your financial reality into something that doesn't make you wake up screaming in the middle of the night. You just have to be willing to do what it takes. And here's what it takes: agreeing to get really, 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 really uncomfortable. Over and over again, we've been raised to believe that you have to work hard to make money, and certainly there are times when this is true, but the real secret is you have to take huge, uncomfy risks. You have to do stuff you've never done before to make yourself visible, to acknowledge your own awesomeness, to risk looking stupid. You must not only admit to desiring and commit to creating wealth, but, most important, you must allow yourself to do so. Taking risks is uncomfortable, but it's the kind of discomfort that's equal parts eek. And hell yeah, fear and excitement are 2 sides of the same coin. And that is precisely the kind of discomfort I'm talking about. Otherwise known as a rush, it's the critical, thrilling discomfort of living large and in charge. My hope for you is that you read this book over and over and do everything it says, that you listen to the hollerings of your heart instead of your doubts and fears, and that you continuously leap bravely into the unknown. I've seen countless clients and friends and people I meet at parties in such struggle around money. It's like watching people starve to death when there's an all-you-can-eat buffet just down the hall. The money you desire is here for you. The opportunities, the clients, the teachers, the brilliant money-making ideas, they're all right here, right now, waiting for you to wake up, let them in, and get this party started. Chapter 1. Allowance. I have a friend who has an extensive owl collection. It all started when she innocently purchased a wooden carving of an owl in front of her mother one afternoon. Isn't that cute? Her mother, in turn, sounded the family rallying cry. The news spread like wildfire. And my friend is now the horrified owner of owl pot holders, owl clocks, owl earrings, owl slippers, I don't give a hoot, T-shirts, needle-pointed owl pillows, owl salt and pepper shakers, stuffed owls, owl soap on a rope. On birthdays, holidays, and graduations, the dreaded flock descends, perching on her shelves, flapping up her wall space, peeking out from her closet. It's like a horror movie. In fact, if you do it correctly, you'll be able to afford to spend even more time on such merriments, and do it in style. Not to mention pay for the gas to put in your car, to get to the family barbecue, buy the hot dogs, show up wearing clothes, and marvel at Uncle Carl's famous card tricks, unfettered by thoughts of your crushing debt, or how you're going to hit him up for a loan to cover your rent this month as soon as he's had a few beers. Everybody arrives on this planet with unique desires, gifts, and talents, and as you journey through life, your job is to discover what yours are, to nurture them, and to bloom into the most authentic, gleeful, and badassiest version of yourself. In order to do this, as a human being in modern society on planet Earth, you must be rich. And let me clarify what I mean by rich, lest you think I'm saying your life is worthless, lest it involves a mansion and a yacht. Rich, able to afford all the things and experiences required to fully experience your most authentic life, while the amount of money you need will depend on who you are and what you desire. Ain't nobody riding for free. Number body. We exist in a world where, like it or not, nearly everything involved in your growth, pursuit of happiness, and self-expression costs money. If you're an artist, for example, your riches might go toward things like paint, canvases, brushes, a studio, trips to places that inspire you and fill you up with ideas, dinner out with friends and fellow artists to keep your spirits and energy high, hiring a PR firm, someone to walk your dog so you can work, a personal trainer, and a DJ at your art opening, paying the admission fees to museums, buying healthy food, music to listen to, classes, glasses, and a beret. What you need is a very squirrely subject, heaped high with guilt and confusion and fears, and the only person who can answer what you truly need to be the most joyfully you is you. The trick is getting clear amidst the endless supply of inner and outer opinions. For example, maybe you've had an experience similar to this. You've just hung out at someone's lavish home and left feeling like, I want my house wired for sound with speakers in every room too. How have I been living this long without it? Only to visit with a friend soon thereafter who's wearing the same clothes she wore in college more than 20 years ago, who's driving the same falling-apart car and listening to the same crappy stereo because she feels these things are good enough. Why create more waste by throwing them away and upgrading? And you suddenly find yourself feeling dirty for wanting a big fancy stereo and speakers in your laundry room. There will never be a lack of conflicting opinions and information when it comes to any decision you make in life, and this is especially true when it comes to something as controversial as money. Depending on who we were raised by, the society we grew up in, and the people we surround ourselves with, our minds can be littered with thoughts that have us believing everything from the critical importance of making big bucks to keep up with the Joneses to existing on crumbs and sleeping on a camping mattress in order to be a noble, good person. All that matters is what's true for you, which is why getting really good at listening to your intuition and your heart and following your happiness is critical. And which is why I want to drive home the following point. If you allow yourself to make all the money you need to flourish and live out your desires, it does not mean you are or will become a greedy, selfish, earth-ruining bastard. A healthy desire for wealth is not greed, it's a desire for life. Desire literally means desire of the Father. And whether or not you believe in God, your desires were bestowed upon you when you became your earthly self, along with other distinctive you-type things like your face and your personality and your affinity for needlecrafts. They are unique to you, they define the essence of who you are, and they act as the roadmap for your life. Your desires were given to you by the universal intelligence that created everything in existence with the express purpose of being carried out by you during your lifetime. As a member of the human species, you are part of nature, and everything else in nature is provided with all it needs to carry out its desire to thrive and flourish. So why wouldn't you be? Nature is a fine-tuned, well-thought-out machine that is all about the fullest expression and perpetuation of life. Mother Nature gets an A+ in systems management and resource replenishment. She's got it down. It's when mankind gets freaky and scared and greedy that nature is thrown out of balance. We pollute, strip, and destroy our dear pal the Earth in horrifying and often irreparable ways when we act from fear instead of the desire to collaborate with our planet and the creatures on it. We hoard resources because we fear there aren't enough to go around or that we're unworthy unless we have more. We pollute our water, air, and land and ravage our forests in order to cut costs or make lots of money because we're unconscious, insecure, and hence power-obsessed. While it's impossible to live on Earth and not make some sort of impact if we humans were all in harmony with our highest selves, feeding our desires instead of our fears, in the flow with Mother Nature, giving and receiving in a healthy, collaborative, conscious way, this planet would be in beautiful shape. All of nature is forever moving, growing, changing, reproducing, evolving. It's all the rage. Even the damn universe itself is expanding. Likewise, you are not meant to just survive, to stay stagnant, to settle. You are meant to keep growing and thrive. Just like the tree that sucks up nutrients, water, and sun, grows to its tallest, mightiest height, and drops shit all over our yards that will then spawn the next generation of trees, and the frog that miraculously grows from egg to tadpole to adult. You too are meant to reach your fullest expression of the you that is you, to inspire and birth awesomeness in others, and to use whatever resources you need along the way. We all have seeds of unthinkable badassery inside of us, yet only some of us will allow ourselves to grow. The difference being, of course, that unlike the tree and the frog, you are human. So unless your truth involves living in a cave on rent-free land, carving images of caribou on the wall with a pebble while dining on nuts and berries not owned by Monsanto, pretending that you can reach great heights without the proper funds is cray. In fact, if you are here to become the grandest, most generous version of yourself, which you are, and if that costs money, which it does, it is your duty as a hallowed child of Mother Nature to get rich. Even if we could live on what's within reach, sitting under an apple tree next to an endless stream of fresh water full of fish with a cocktail waitress stopping by every couple of hours, eventually we'd get bored, seek new lands, want to go for a bike ride or something. Humans are curious by nature. Our desire to keep evolving physically, mentally, and spiritually is part of who we are, which is why settling, staying stuck in a rut, treading the lukewarm water of mediocrity, or worse, is so excruciating. All of Mother Nature's creatures are designed to fully flourish before they drop dead. You, just like all living things, are meant to take up space on this planet. Shrinking back and denying yourself the things that bring you great joy, living under a cloud of guilt, refusing to make an impact, ain't why you're here. The earth is not here for us to pillage, but it is here for us to enjoy, care for, and appreciate. You living your fullest life and making all the money required to do so doesn't take anything away from anyone else any more than you refusing a ham sandwich because someone, somewhere, is starving, helps them. Greed comes from the same lack mindset as poverty. Staying broke because you fear it's gross to be rich, or that you don't deserve money, or that you getting rich somehow prohibits someone else from getting rich too, is all rooted in lack. Lack is the state of being you're in when you believe you're in need of, when you believe that what you desire doesn't exist, when your outlook on life is a glass with a hole in the bottom as opposed to a glass half full. A lack mindset believes that there's not enough to go around, that you're not good enough or worthy enough to flourish, that the money you spend may never make its way back to you, etc. Pigging out on money and things and experiences is also based in fear and lack. Fear of never having enough, fear of not being secure, fear of being unlovable, trying to fill a bottomless hole in your heart. Nothing in excess is healthy. Gluttony is just as devastating as is anorexia. You denying yourself your heart's desires is not noble. It's a waste of some damn good desires. And it denies the world our only opportunity to bask in more of you. If you sometimes feel hopeless because of all the pain and suffering in the world, and worry, who the hell am I to get rich when others are starving and being bombed out of their countries and enslaved, know this. One of the best things you can do is get rich. Because of the way our world is structured, money and power are intertwined. So if you want to help make a positive change, money is one of the most effective tools you can use to do it. Yes, you can donate your time, organize, protest, lobby, alert the masses, post incensed rants on Facebook, but you will be much more effective if you have the energy, options, and freedom that come with not being in financial struggle, not to mention the resources to spend however you see fit. Instead of complaining and freaking out about the power-mongering, greed-obsessed fatheads who are perpetrating such harm on the planet and handing them even more power by staying broke because you don't want to be like them, why not focus yourself on getting rich instead so you can make a big difference? You can do some really cool stuff with money. Don't let the jerks who give it a bad name ruin it for you. You cannot give what you do not have, so if you want to help others, you have to take care of yourself first. This is why they always tell you on airplanes that you have to put your oxygen mask on first before you help someone else with theirs. They have to remind us of this because it's counterintuitive. Unless you are a sociopath, it's your nature to help. Few things light up the human heart like helping, bringing joy to others. Trust in the fact that when you're well taken care of financially, you'll be even more poised and inspired to spread the love. Our world, now more than ever, needs as many compassionate, creative, big-hearted, conscious people to be as rich as possible so we can turn this mother around. I mean, imagine if you and all the people you love and respect had assloads of money, and if they felt grateful and empowered by it, not icky and guilty, and if they could afford to spend it on themselves and others and on saving our planet in ways that uplifted everyone involved. Please take a moment to really envision the specifics of this as it pertains to yourself and the spectacular people in your life. Take them all one by one and imagine how they'd feel, who they'd become, what they'd spend their newfound wealth on. If your peeps are anything like mine, It makes the whole concept of being rich something worth writing a love song about. There is no such thing as too much awesome. I'ma go ahead and say it out loud. Join me, won't you? I love money. There's no need for explanations or apologies. I also love pizza, and I can say that without tacking on a bunch of disclaimers. I love pizza, but, it's not everything. Spending time with people you love and being of service are important too. Let's take back the word money and decriminalize it, because until you do, you aren't going to be terribly motivated to let yourself make much. I've been broke and sad, rich and sad, broke and happy, rich and happy, and I'll take the rich version over the broke version all day long, because money gives you freedom and options, and I really love freedom and options. Who doesn't? While we're at it, let's go ahead and decriminalize rich people, shall we? Contrary to popular belief, the rich are just people. They're not intrinsically filthy, nor do they deserve to be killed, eaten, or robbed. We live in a society that's made a sport out of judging people with lots of money, so regardless of how you feel in your conscious mind about the rich, some of my best friends are rich. It's important to be aware of any negative beliefs you may be harboring deep down. Of course, there are some rich people who totally suck, but some of them are awesome, just as some poor people totally suck, and some of them are awesome. The problem is that it's socially acceptable to roll our eyes when someone drives by in a Bentley or talks about how very many dollars they made this year. Meanwhile, it's part of normal conversation to complain about how broke you are, or to announce that you got your boots for a mere $5 at Goodwill. Snobbery works in both directions. If you're rich, thinking you're better than those who aren't is as equally lame as being broke and thinking you're better than those who are rich. Start paying attention to any disparaging comments that may fly out of your mouth or your mind when it comes to rich folk, because if you plan on becoming one of them, it's going to be a whole lot easier if you actually approve of who you're becoming. Take a deep breath, trust your desires, and embrace the fact that your quest for riches is a quest to become more of who you truly are. We don't all desire to live a huge, fancy life or solve world hunger. That's not what this is about. It's about you letting yourself be the biggest badass you can be, whatever that happens to look like for you. You are meant to thrive, and by thriving, you automatically help others to thrive too. Think about it. Just standing next to someone who's being totally who they are, who is lit up by life, who goes for it fully, who believes anything is possible, who is excited to be in on the adventure of spinning around on this planet, who allows themselves to look stupid, to fail, to succeed, to be rich, to be generous, to basically be, do, and have all the things and experiences that make them the most themselves. It makes you feel like you could go out and flip over a car, right? So why not be that for someone else by being the most you that you can be too? If you're a political activist, be as active as you can possibly be. If you're a musician, rock on with your bad self. If you're an attorney, fight for what's right. If you're a stay-at-home mum, raise awesome kids with great manners. It all counts, it all contributes. We're all equally vital. It's not a competition. There wouldn't be room for all of us to do all of the same things the same way, which is why we each desire to fill our own special spot in the world with our own special selves. Understand that your gifts, talents, and desires were given to you because you are meant to thrive and share your you-ness with the world as only you can. Please, oh please, allow yourself to get as rich as you need to be in order to bestow upon us your greatness. Success story. If he can do it, so can you. Charles, 54, went from making $20,000 a year to over $145,000 a year in less than 7 months. I always thought I loved money, but I realized after a while I had a problem with it because I never made any. After some serious introspection, I realized that because I grew up poor in a broken home and my father never paid us a cent in child support, The message that I received and came to accept as truth is that I'm not worth anything. So throughout my life, as opportunities came along, I would somehow allow that underlying belief to sabotage any success. I started saying mantras of encouragement to myself about my greatness and would express thanks to the universe, to everybody and everything around me for things that I hadn't received yet. And it changed me, it elevated me to be a more positive person, and I went forward doing things that I didn't believe were possible, but I did them anyway. I also began learning skills to improve myself, some at a great expense. I practiced interviewing for jobs by doing hundreds of interviews until I got good at it. One thing that helped is I looked at the others around me, even the ones hiring me, and found that I was a great deal more knowledgeable and better skilled than even they were. My confidence slowly began to develop. I continued interviewing and landed my present job, where I make over $145,000 a year. Today, I'm living in the best home that I've ever lived in. My children are all in the best schools that they have ever been in. I drive the best car that I have ever owned, and have luxuries that I had never imagined would be possible. My doubts about my self-worth still rise up every now and then, but I keep working on it and know I can beat it. It's an amazing feeling. To get rich, suggested money mantra: say it, write it, feel it, own it. I love money because I love myself. Please give at least 10 answers to each of the following. 1. Make a list of all the reasons why you deserve money. 2. Make a list of some beautiful things that have happened in this world thanks to money. 3. Make a list of all the awesome things and experiences money will add to your life. 5. Make a list of how you being rich will benefit others. Please fill in the blank. I'm grateful to money because Nobby Coddy. Chapter 2. Why you ain't rolling in the cheddar yet. When I was a kid, every so often my parents would get my brothers and sister and me all dressed up, file us onto a plane, and off we'd go to visit my dad's side of the family in his hometown of Naples, Italy. I have such vivid and random memories of those trips, my first ever glass of blood-red orange juice, unthinkably purple and delicious, that I sipped on the balcony of our hotel room with my bare feet up on the railing. My grandfather's giant green parrot, who screamed at us in Italian, a bird. My Aunt Lucia greeting us with her arms lifted high over her head in pre-hug enthusiasm, and the shocking mound of armpit hair thus revealed, the likes of which I'd never seen on a lady, and which was so terrifyingly obscene to my American sensibilities, it was as if she'd greeted us by spreading her legs in my face. During one of these trips, when I was around 7 years old, my Uncle Renato took the whole gang out to his favorite seafood restaurant, someplace overlooking the water, with a big patio full of picnic tables. The horde of Sincero cousins, siblings, aunts, uncles, in-laws and grandparents vied for prime placement around 2 long tables, and by some stroke of luck, amidst the chaos, I managed to score the most coveted seat of seats right next to my dad. My father was the focal point of everything on these trips, not only because he was like a celebrity. The dashing eldest son returned home with his beautiful American wife, proud brood, and successful doctor's practice, but mostly because he was the only one who spoke both Italian and English, which meant that every time anyone said anything, 4 long rows of picnic benches and 20 sets of eyes were transfixed on him, blinking in eager hopes of him translating some witticism or anecdote that would allow us to turn to one another and laugh, nod, and feel that sense of tribe that families who actually understand what the hell one another is saying feel. Right after we were seated, the owner or chef or someone important came up to our table and made a big show of greeting Uncle Renato, who was clearly a celebrity in his own right, and there was much handshaking and cheek-pinching and benvenutoing before the man clapped his hands together, announced, "Welcome, my friends. I hope you are hangry," and disappeared inside the restaurant. Moments later, a steady stream of food that would continue non-stop for the next 4 hours began appearing in front of us. At some point, the waitress brought over a plate that was piled high with deep-fried, circular somethings, and my dad pulled me onto his lap and told me to try one. "What is it?" I asked. "Just try it." "Yeah, but what is it?" Instead of telling me, he turned to the rest of the table, pointed at the plate, and rattled off something in Italian, the only parts of which I understood were the words Jennifer, Mangia, and the laughter that ensued. Now there were 4 rows of picnic benches and 20 sets of eyes staring at me and this stupid plate of fried circles that I was suddenly terrified of. My father, in spite of his celebrity status, is a pretty shy guy, and truth or dare isn't really his scene, all of which made me think that whatever was on that plate must be really bad if he was willing to put on this big to-do about it. My mind immediately went to worms. It couldn't possibly be anything else. You hear all the time about these foreign countries where they eat things like tarantulas and eyes and brains, so of course some people must eat worms. I imagined how one could easily make a circle out of a worm, dip it in batter and deep fry it. I mean, what other creature could you do that with? The answer? Only worms. As deeply disturbing as this thought was, I hated being teased, and I hated losing at truth or dare even more, so in front of the entire Sincero nation, I popped a mystery circle into my mouth and chewed, gagging and wincing while waiting for the worm to explode, but much to my surprise, there were no guts. Instead, it was more like eating a rubber band, chewy and tasteless and dumb. My father then yelled in my face, "It's squid!" And everyone erupted in laughter and applause, and my Aunt Alberta patted me on the head, and I retreated into a deep, seething blackness of hatred and humiliation that had me up and bolting for the bathroom in a fit of tears. I was a kid who liked fish. Had I known the truth about what I was putting into my mouth, I could have avoided the gagging, the drama, and the scolding I got later that evening for kicking my brother hard in the shin when he imitated me trying to choke down a worm. Which brings me to the point of this story. Our realities are make-believe. Whatever we make ourselves believe, we experience. When it comes to forming and transforming our human experience, the power of the mind reigns supreme over any type of external truths. If you believe money is evil and/or difficult to make, your bank account will have tumbleweeds blowing through it. Strong religious beliefs inspire everything from wars to glorious houses of worship to cutthroat charity pie-baking contests. The belief that you are hot and sexy will have you getting hit on by strangers on the street. And if you believe you're eating worms, you will gag. There's a neuroscientist named Vilayanu Ramachandran who uses the power of belief to help amputees in excruciating pain find relief. Many people who've lost a limb experience what's called phantom pain, very real pain sensations in a part of their body that no longer exists. Because the limb is no longer there, there's no way for them to massage it or soak it or do anything to relieve the pain. Hello, how freaking torturous is that? Through the use of mirrors, Ramachandran reflects the image of a patient's existing limb to where the missing limb used to be, so it appears that the missing limb is no longer missing. Then, if they're missing an arm, for example, they move their existing arm, unclench their hand, relieve the tension however they can, and the mind is tricked into believing that this is happening to the missing arm, and the pain disappears. By making the mind believe that the non-existent exists, he is able to help his patients change their physical reality. Your external world is a mirror of your internal world. If you can make yourself believe the thoughts that are screwing up your financial life, I can't make money because of X, I'm a single mom, I live in the middle of nowhere, I'm an idiot, etc. You can make yourself unbelieve them too. This is how powerful we are and how deceptively simple changing our lives is. We can literally create the reality we desire by making ourselves think and believe what we desire to think and believe. How awesome is that? Our beliefs, along with our thoughts and words, are at the root of everything we experience in life, which is why consciously choosing what rolls around in your mind and falls out of your mouth is one of the most important things you can do. This conscious choosing of your thoughts, beliefs, and words is called mastering your mindset. And master it you must if you'd like to live large and in charge instead of being bossed around by your circumstances. Here's the lowdown on how your mindset works. Beliefs. When it comes to money, most people feel like their beliefs are in pretty good shape. Hell yes, I will gladly let you give me money all day long, thank you very much. Here, I just so happen to have a bag for you to put it in, but what they don't realize is that this is their conscious mind talking, and that deep down we all have our subconscious mind, which is the motherboard that controls all of our results. And if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So no matter how much you may think you're all about the money in your conscious mind, if your subconscious believes that you will get cut off from all family gatherings if you get rich, because as a kid, that's what you saw your jealous grandfather do to your dad. When he got rich, you ain't going to be rolling in it anytime soon. Here's why. The Little Prince. The subconscious mind is like a 7-year-old prince who suddenly becomes king when his father dies. He's running the kingdom of your adult life based on information that he gathered and processed while doing somersaults and pulling down his pants in the front yard, meaning he didn't really process any of it at all. When you're born, you don't have any attitudes and beliefs about money. You arrive blank, open, game for anything. You base your truth about money on what you learn from the people around you and the experiences you have. All this information flows into your subconscious mind before your brain has matured and developed any sort of filter or analytical ability to be like, hold on a minute, just because mom and dad fight about money all the time doesn't mean money is bad. It could mean he's jealous that she makes more than he does, or that she wants him to pay more attention to her, so she picks fights with him. When you're a kid, all this information comes in through a much simpler, kid-sized perspective, meaning you take what's right in front of you at face value. So, with this example, where you grew up seeing your parents fight about money, you might believe money equals fighting equals scary equals bad. Or, if I make money, I will be yelled at and unlovable. Or, money scares the hell out of me because it looks like someone's about to get hit every time the topic comes up. And this information in this very basic emotional form gets lodged in your subconscious mind like a meat cleaver as the truth. And there it remains for the rest of your life unless you reprogram it, which I will show you how to do later. Serving you well if it's positive and helpful, and frustrating the crap out of you if it holds you back from creating the life you desire. Here are the 3 basic attributes of the subconscious. It's primal. The subconscious mind's #1 concern is survival. As a little baby who can't take care of or fend for itself, losing love and being abandoned literally equals death. So any time we come near to putting ourselves at risk, the little prince goes crazy and tries to stop us. This is one of the main reasons we stay stuck in lives we're not nuts about. We don't want to risk trying and failing, trying and succeeding, losing weight, getting rich, having a new opinion, a new love life, a new strut in our step, for fear the people we love will reject us when we change. While this may work for a little kid who's doing the best he can to survive, it sucks for an adult. It's sneaky. Most people have no idea that they've got all these underlying beliefs holding them back. They're only aware, somewhat, of their conscious thoughts, so they work on those and leave the real culprit beneath undisturbed. This is how we get trapped in our patterns, dating the same weirdos over and over, repeatedly working for people who treat us like poo, spending all our money the second we make it. The little prince and your unquestioned conscious beliefs are ruling the roost. It doesn't want to be dethroned. And your little prince will pitch a full-on temper tantrum if it looks like things are headed that way. Let's say you make the bold decision to quit your job as a kindergarten teacher and open the daycare business of your dreams. You put very clear and no-nonsense financial goals firmly in place, set about securing a loan to rent a space, come up with a name, like perhaps Who Cares Daycare, and neatly get all your ducks in a row. Meanwhile, beneath the surface, if you believe that struggling is more noble than succeeding, because that's what your parents taught you, and that everyone who loves you as you used to be will judge and abandon you when you're rich, your subconscious self might attempt to protect you by suddenly getting the flu, by picking fights with people who can help you, by inspiring you to procrastinate, make terrible investments, drink your face off the night before, or morning of an important meeting, etc. When you change who you're being, you're basically killing off your old identity, which completely freaks your subconscious self out. Change hurls you into the unknown and puts you at risk for all sorts of loss and, of course, all sorts of unthinkable awesomeness, which is why it brings your biggest fears to the surface. Your little prince is desperately trying to keep you in a safe, known space, otherwise known as your comfort zone. But if the truths you're running your life on no longer fit who you're becoming, it's like trying to squeeze into the snow pants you wore as a kid when you're 36 years old. Not so comfy after all. Yet we do it all the time, because even though they cut off our circulation and hold us back from who we so desperately want to become, the puffy pants are familiar, cozy, and feel safer than trying on an outfit that we've never worn before. We are so attached to the unhelpful familiar, in fact, that we will spend our valuable, very finite time here on Earth crafting excuses to keep ourselves right where we are, instead of leaping into the glorious unknown and growing into who we're really meant to be. The walls of your comfort zone are lovingly decorated with your lifelong collection of favorite excuses. Love your little prince for being a great pal by trying to protect you, but it's time to step into your power, put on your grown-up crown, and take your kingdom back. Along with our overbearing little prince, the quest for earthly security holds people back from living the lives of their dreams more than almost anything else. And the ridiculous part is, it doesn't even exist. People will spend lifetimes slogging it out in secure jobs they hate, staying in relationships with people they don't like, rather than risk being alone, never spending money on anything fun in order to save it for a rainy day. Meanwhile, we are flying through outer space in an infinite universe, on a planet prone to earthquakes and plagues and ice ages. That secure job at that secure company could dry up. Some lunatic could run up and start beating you to death with a tree branch. Anything could happen at any time. Now, of course, focusing on this wouldn't be helpful in living a productive or happy life, because we'd be crouched under tables and clinging to buildings while trying to walk down the street. But I'm reminding you of it in hopes of liberating you from the pointless, oftentimes life-sucking trap of sacrificing living your dreams for false security. To free your heart up to follow your joy and ride the wave of awesomeness instead of limiting yourself and playing it safe. Trying to protect yourself from your fears protects you from experiencing a fully evolved and juicy life. I'm not talking about putting yourself in harm's way, poo-pooing safety precautions, or acting like an irresponsible maniac. Screw it, we're all going down anyway. Let's cash in the kids' college funds, buy a bunch of blow, and drive to Mexico. I'm talking about freeing yourself up to thrive in abundance instead of living life clinging to your fears. I'm talking about focusing on your heart's desires, on infinite possibility, on enjoying the crap out of your life instead of worrying about what you might lose. Be responsible, put money aside for the future, wear your seatbelt, make big, fun plans with your friends and family. Don't walk through shady neighborhoods alone. Invest your money wisely. Exercise your body and your mind. Practice safe sex. Don't smoke cigarettes or get drunk in public and badmouth your neighbors. Act as if you've got a long, happy life on earth ahead of you. But do not shrink back from something you desire because it's too risky. Just being alive is risky. Allow yourself to experience whatever your heart desires as if this is your one and only chance to take the ride of your life. Words. Our perception of reality is also greatly influenced by our words. Words bring our thoughts and beliefs to life and help anchor them into our realities through repetition. Words help us form our identities. We get attached to our lingo, our shtick. My memory is crap. I left the keys in my front door again. But what a tube. The more you tell yourself you're a forgetful tube, the more you will believe it, and hence act like a forgetful tube. You tell a kid that she's stupid enough times, and she'll believe she is, even if she just taught herself to read in Chinese. I told myself pretty much every day for 40 years that I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life and, as a result, remained in the fetal position of hopelessness and confusion for decades. Had I replaced the phrase, "I don't know," with "clues are all around me," I would have opened myself up to receive tidbits of clarity instead of slamming the door on Lord only knows how many golden opportunities. What comes out of your mouth comes into your life. Because we are creatures of habit who tend to have our words on repeat, they become like a chisel that forms grooves in our minds, playing the same stories over and over, anchoring in our thoughts and beliefs and defining our reality. Our words are like water flowing over rocks. Over time, they have the power to create grooves the size of the Grand Canyon. This is what I love about the phrase, stuck in a rut. You're literally stuck in a rut or a groove of thought, beliefs and words. And in order to free yourself, you need to consciously create a new groove, and a great place to start is by getting yourself some new, better words. Language defines and shapes our perception of reality by giving it an understandable structure. We create and reinforce boundaries around time, for example, talking about what we did yesterday, how tomorrow can't come fast enough, and how someday I'm going to start eating healthy, but right now I'm going to explore what a cheeseburger tastes like with a slab of butter on it, etc. Meanwhile, according to Einstein, time is an illusion. It's flexible, non-linear, and the whole 24 hours in a day thing is a giant hoax. We've all heard this before, yet we are a staunch 7 days in a week, 52 weeks in a year kind of culture, and this is made real by our language. The Hopi people, who perceive the world more in tune with Einstein's findings, have no words in their language to express the past or future because they basically exist in the now. In fact, they don't even have a word for now because to step back and call it something would take them out of the moment. There are countless realms of reality, and the words we use wrap us up nice and tightly into whichever perception we're participating in. Words also have an incredibly persuasive effect on us. Think about how incredible it is when someone speaks directly to what you're feeling or thinking or fearing. The right words spoken at the right time can make you feel recognized on a deep soul level and can be so powerful as to inspire entire nations of smart people to vote idiots into office or a whole community to drink lethal Kool-Aid. So start paying attention and notice if you're repeatedly announcing how much you hate, cheat, fear, mistrust money via language. such as, "I'm an idiot when it comes to money, I could never afford that, I hate that rich bastard," etc. If you're bad-mouthing money, you're going to want to go ahead and knock that off. Thoughts. Your thoughts inspire emotions that inspire action that forms your reality. When I was little, we lived next door to a family with a bunch of kids close to my age. Their parents were German, and while I was playing at their house one day a couple weeks before Christmas, they let me in on some very valuable information. Apparently, not only were there presents to be had under the tree on the 25th of December, but there was another holiday they celebrated in Germany at the beginning of the month called St. Nicholas's Day, and if you left your shoe outside overnight, it would be full of presents the next morning. Hello, I immediately went home and picked out the biggest shoe I had, a clog, waited 9 million years for the rest of the day to go by and dinner to finally be over, so I could sneak outside and leave my clog right next to the front door, as instructed. As I lay in bed that night, listening to my parents clean the kitchen, my heart suddenly leapt out of my chest at the sound of the front door opening and the dog being called. In a matter of moments, my name was being called too. "Jennifer, get your butt down here right now." My mother was standing at the bottom of the steps, waving my clog over her head, demanding to know how it ended up outside. I mumbled something about taking it off and forgetting to bring it in, apologized, and slinked back upstairs with my freezing cold shoe. Great. Now I'd have to sneak out again after they went to bed and risk getting in twice as much trouble. Yet as serious an offence as it was a brand new clog on top of everything else, and as grave as the repercussions would no doubt be, it was totally worth the risk. Because Dot presents. The story ends with me getting no presents, obvi, getting busted again thanks to the stupid dog, who needed to be let out early to pee, and being put on a full month of hamster cage cleaning duty as well as dishwasher emptying duty, made all the worse by the glee it brought my newly chore-free siblings. We are creatures who are driven by emotion. When we're all fired up, we ain't listening to nothing else, not wisdom and logic or fear and doubt. Our emotions compel us to participate in staggering displays of both the magnificent and the moronic. We will flip over parked cars in the street when our team wins the World Cup, date people covered in red flags, spend hundreds of dollars on a beautiful pair of shoes that don't fit, risk a second round of scolding from our parents for leaving our clogs outside, etc. We will also accept an exciting new job that we're unqualified for, overcome our fear of flying to visit a friend in need, step onto a stage in front of hundreds even though we're terrified, go into the red to launch the business of our dreams, etc. You cannot have an emotion without having a thought first, e.g., "We won, I love my friend, I want to be my own boss." When you learn to master your mindset and focus on thoughts that elicit strong, positive emotions, you wield your power to take crazy leaps of faith in spite of your fears and your little prince trying to hold you back. It all starts with your thoughts. They are the catalyst that brings on the shift that changes what you believe and how you act. To get a better idea of what I'm talking about, here's a breakdown of how your mindset works. Your beliefs are driving the bus. They take you where you're going, whether you're paying attention or not. Your thoughts are the tour guide, the person up front with the microphone and the clipboard. She can lean over and yank the wheel, slam on the brakes, step on the gas, flip the bus. She can do whatever, whenever she wants. She usually works in harmony with your beliefs, but she has all the veto power. Your words are the assistant to your thoughts and beliefs. Your words back them up, voice their opinions, anchor in their message, keep it real. Your emotions are the fuel. They are ignited by your thoughts and can change your beliefs and the direction of your life. Without emotions, you're going nowhere new and exciting. Your actions build the road. They pave the path for your beliefs, but will reroute should thoughts and emotions make a change of plans and decide they want to stop at Dairy Queen or something. When all these facets of your mind, body, and spirit are in alignment, focused on the same desire, singing 99 bottles of beer on the wall as they merrily roll along, you can manifest all the riches you desire. But if you're thinking about how much you'd love to make an extra $5,000 a month and how you have no idea how to do it, if you're feeling terrified and extremely doubtful, believing that people won't take you seriously, yourself included, if you're saying out loud, "I love money and it comes to me easily," every morning in the mirror, and if you're making one sales call per day, after which you give up and crack open a beer, you ain't going to get very far. All members of Team Mindset must be on the field, bringing their A game, yet it's your thoughts, and I hate to play favorites here, that are the biggest badasses of them all. In order to get your thoughts working at their max potential, let's take a look at some of the most common beliefs about money that we often unconsciously accept as the truth and blab away about all the live long day. Pay attention to which of these remind you of something you may have heard yourself thinking or saying, because awareness is the first key step in breaking the spell of your not-so-awesome financial reality. Here's the drill. Become aware of what your limiting thoughts and beliefs are. Question and investigate them. Rewrite them. Say it out loud and proud. I'm going to do this for the first few, so you can see how it works. Unhelpful thought. Money can't buy happiness. Question. What makes me happy? Answer. Hanging out with the people I love, grilled cheese sandwiches, being loved and loving others, laughing my arse off, giving great gifts, traveling, hiking, playing with my dog, taking road trips, listening to music, drinking beer, having my own business, leaving huge tips, freedom, getting massages. Question. Does having money help me achieve any of these happy things? Answer. Yes. Rewritten thought. Money supports my happiness. Unhelpful thought. I'd rather focus on having fun than making money. Question. Is it fun when you make money? Answer. Yes, when I make it, it's fun, but what I have to do to make it isn't fun. Question. Would it be worth your time during your one and only life to find or create an occupation that is fun? Answer. Yes. Question. Do you understand that anything you set your mind to is possible, even having a job that is lucrative and fun? Answer. Yes. Rewritten thought. I make making money fun. Even if you're not 100% on board with believing these new stories yet, do you feel how much more emotionally uplifting they are than their original sad sack versions? Do you understand how shifting the narrative with the same diligence a mechanic might replace a busted carburetor isn't a bunch of pain-in-the-ass busy work, but something that can help you make real transformation in your life? Here are some other commonly held beliefs that are real winners, and that may sound familiar to you. Pick whichever ones sound like something you'd think or say, and reframe them. You can't be rich and spiritual. Money isn't important, people are. Never go into debt. Save your money for a rainy day. Rich people are lucky, gross, selfish, entitled, snobby, shallow, egomaniacs holier than thou. You have to work hard to make money. You can't make money doing X, whatever you love to do. I'm too irresponsible, lazy, clueless to make money. It's not polite to talk about money. It's important to have a good, secure job. If you get excited by making money, it means you're shallow. Money doesn't grow on trees. You must go to a good college to make money. Money causes stress. There's never enough money. Money is trouble. I don't want to be a sellout. You have to sacrifice having a good, fun life to make money. Money is out of my reach. You have champagne tastes on a beer pocketbook. Always have a backup plan. It's lonely at the top. Who has that kind of money? He, she is only about the money. Imagine walking around experiencing similarly icky thoughts and feelings for something just as omnipresent as money. For example, what if you thought these things about the sky? The sky is the root of all evil. It's not polite to talk about the sky. Loving the sky makes me a bad person. The sky turns otherwise decent people into pigs. You'd barely be able to leave your house, let alone relish the joys of life. When you, consciously or unconsciously, resent money or cling to your limiting beliefs about money or refuse to participate in making money, it does not serve you, it does not make you more noble, it does not help you or anyone else. What it does is put you on a hunger strike by cutting you off from that which you need not only to survive, but to thrive. By embracing money and getting into the flow, you open yourself up to the abundance that is trying to reach you this very moment. A tiny but mighty chapter about universal intelligence. There is no lack of opinions and theories when it comes to the universal intelligence that created and continues to create all that exists. Some people call this mighty power God, some call it spirit, some call it a load of crap. If you're one of those people who happens to be skeptical about buying into such woo-hooery and you desire to get rich, I strongly suggest you put your grouchiness aside and agree to take some new beliefs for a spin. Because not only could you very possibly see gigantic results by partying down with universal intelligence, but I'm telling you, whether you like it or not, you already sort of believe in it. You believe in something somewhere, whether it's fate or luck or divine intervention. You've knocked on wood before. You've said a prayer when your team's about to lose, or you suddenly notice blue and red flashing lights in your rearview mirror. You've thanked someone named God before, or stuck an oh my before his name, while watching a video of an old lady jump over a pile of her grandkids on a skateboard. You've gotten a magically knowing hint from somewhere. I don't know what made me think to stop off at Mom's house on the way home, but if I hadn't, she'd still be lying on the floor. You've caught a glimpse that there might be something out there that you can't totally wrap your head around, that is participating in our lives with us. You've felt it tickle the hairs along the back of your neck. Even if it's just the tiniest smidgen of recognition, you've said howdy to universal intelligence. The reason I'm insisting on this is because once you acknowledge that there's a force larger than your physical self at play in your life, you can start working with the highfalutin and limitless power of the universe to make some money around here. We've been taught to treat the information delivered to us via our 5 physical senses as the truth. Meanwhile, without sounding like an ingrate for all the awesomeness provided by my eyes, ears, nose, skin, and tongue, seriously guys, huge thanks. These senses of ours are limited. Our senses provide only a certain scope of information, limited by the reach of those senses. For example, our sense of smell is far inferior to a dog's. A dog can smell a package of salami being opened the second the seal is broken from the other room while sleeping. Bats can totally make fun of us right in front of our faces at frequencies too high for us to hear. Cats and their bionic night vision will always beat us in an after-dark obstacle course competition. Most people define their reality from the confines of what their 5 senses tell them, but there is so much more going on, like, say, an infinite, eternal universe worth of stuff, just like electricity and gravity, 2 things that impact our everyday lives that we don't actually see, that few of us understand, and that hello everyone believes in anyway. Universal intelligence and the power of our thoughts are real and affecting our lives every single moment. You show your faith in gravity by not flinging yourself off roofs, and your faith in electricity by not picking at a light socket with a fork. You may not understand the intricacies of how it all works, but still, you're totally down with following the rules. I want to encourage you to follow suit with the information I'm giving you now. Put it into practice as you embark on becoming rich, and let the results speak for themselves. Because trust me, Once you start experiencing how powerful your thoughts and universal intelligence are, even though you may not totally grasp the entire WTF of everything involved, you'll be down with the program when you're rolling in the dough. We live in a universe that is made up of energy. Everything is vibrating, moving, changing, and buzzing. This goes for all that's visible as well as all that's unseen. This book, microwaves, your car, a brick, thoughts, money, words, a rock, a peck of pickled peppers, etc. One of the ways we interpret this energy is via our 5 senses. Our eyes pick up on light energy, our ears translate sound waves, our touch interprets energy as solid mass, etc. But this is only an interpretation of reality, and a limited one at that. This interpretation of our reality is also run through the filter of the belief system we've formed via all the information we've picked up over the course of our lives. Between our 5 physical senses and the truth blueprint created by our belief system, our perception of reality is, shall we say, a tad limited. Here's the thing that makes me so excited to be alive on planet Earth as a human being with a conscious mind. We have the power to participate in the realm of reality that goes far beyond what our truth blueprint tells us, what our 5 senses tell us, or even what a dog's, cat's, or bat's senses tell them. And the way we blast beyond this limited realm is with our thoughts. Nothing happens or comes to be without being thought first. Our staggering solar system, your favorite song, the amount of money in your bank account, all of it. Our thoughts are linked to the invisible energy that makes up all that is, and they help mold it into that which we experience on the physical plane. And here's the real humdinger, universal intelligence. And your thoughts are basically the same force. Just as the water droplet that lands in the ocean is part of the whole sea, so your thoughts exist as part of universal intelligence. In other words, you are one powerful motherfucker. The more conscious you are about thinking powerful thoughts, and the less you're caught up in the limited aspects of the illusion created by your 5 senses and your truth blueprint, the more in tune and connected you are to universal intelligence, and the more ease you will have in getting rich. The way you communicate with and stay connected to universal intelligence amidst the distractions and mayhem of your daily doings is through 2 types of thought: outgoing thought and incoming thought. Outgoing thought. We are the only creatures on Earth with the power of conscious thought, and we use it to mold our realities and our paychecks by alerting universal intelligence that this is how it is. Universal intelligence created all that is and all that will be, and your thoughts are how you use your free will to harness the power of universal intelligence to mold your reality. If you send out thoughts like, "I can't afford to go on vacation and I don't see that changing anytime soon," the universe is like, "Noted, you can't afford it. Stuck at home it is." Just as your thoughts created the financial reality you're experiencing right now, you can also use them to overpower what is, to manifest whatever reality you set your mind to. And I mean whatever you set your mind to. This is because everything you can think of already exists in the universe, otherwise you wouldn't be able to think it. I know, bananas, but stay with me here. All information, physical, mental, and spiritual, originates from the same source, universal intelligence. Where are your thoughts before they come into your mind? Where is the flower that grows out of the teeny tiny seed? Where is the reality of you doubling your income with your awesome new cat costume business? All of this already exists in the energetic realm, and it's through our minds and how our mindset inspires us to take action that the new reality is made to manifest on the physical plane. If you can think a thought, that thought already exists. And since all things come from universal intelligence, that thought must exist in a physical form as well. If you have a desire to make $50,000, that money, and the way for you to make it, already exists. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to think it up in the first place, because the thought of the money and the money itself are the same stuff. This concept is a 3,897-page book with a prayer mat and a bucket of ayahuasca thrown in. But for the sake of our work here, this is the gist of how universal intelligence works. Your thoughts dictate the truth. So if you're presently living in your mother's basement, working at the chicken shack down the road for $7.95 an hour, and you fixate your thoughts with unwavering determination on owning your own 200-acre chicken farm and a Cadillac, that chicken farm and sweet ride are your truth. Your thoughts alert universal intelligence to start arranging the energy in such a way as to make your desires manifest in physical form. You need to learn how to see and receive the new opportunities that will lead you to your goal, which we will go into more deeply later. Your thoughts also trigger your emotions, which get you off your arse to take action, and your reality begins to shift. This is how people in wheelchairs climb mountains, and those who grow up in extreme poverty become rich. They consider their thoughts to be the truth, regardless of how their reality may appear. Get all worked up into an excited tizzy about it and make it happen. They use the power that all of us have to create what they desire, instead of settling for what they see surrounding them. Opportunity is in the eye of the beholder. Mastering the mindset of wealth is choosing to think about money and your reality in relation to money in a way that will make you rich, not keep you poor. When you consciously focus your thoughts on the wealth you desire, imagine yourself rolling around on a big old leaf pile of Benjamins. Feel how right and good and exciting it feels to be in the financial flow. You arrange the energy around you and within you to vibrate at a high frequency, and, as a result, your reality mirrors back to you high-frequency opportunities and things. You can feel this energy. It literally lifts your spirits and pulls into your radar all the high-frequency opportunities and things you shut yourself off from when you're all low vibe and sad sacky about your wimpy bank account, your lack of job options, your botched attempt at trying to get a raise, etc. Meanwhile, thinking about how amazing it's going to feel paying off your $15,000 credit card debt, telling yourself, "I'm so grateful this card is paid off in full. I can hardly stand it," over and over, writing out an actual check for the precise amount to pay it off, and looking at it every day. All of these thoughts arrange the energy around you to vibrate at a higher frequency and to take the physical form of that which you're focused on, $15,000. These positive thoughts release your resistance to having the money come in. You're on board, you're believing it, you're feeling it, you're loving it. Once resistance is gone, you're back into your natural state of flow. There's no doubt and fear cluttering up your energy, and the universe can deliver you the riches you desire. If that doesn't have you heading out to purchase a superhero cape and tights, I don't know what else I can say.